And today we have Zack from the Waterloo area giving us an update of what's going on in that market and maybe look at some deals and some other updates as well.
What's going on in the market? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? You investors out there, it's always a good time to do business as long as the deal is right. There's good deals and bad deals in every type of market. But for everybody else, whether you're, thinking about yourself or buying a primary residence or your own home that you already own, here's the things that I'm looking at. ADUs, baby. ADUs, garden suites. Okay. For an investor, you can build a unit cheaper than you can buy it. So if you have an existing property, especially if you've bought it within the last 10 years, you probably got a ton of equity. Well, you can use that equity to help you purchase or to build the ADU, so you're not taking money out of your pocket. And you probably have a lot, and we'll talk about locations for that, that is going to be conducive for an ADU.
Welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. My name is Ed Hervius, a real estate investor and longtime friend of the channel. And today we have Zack from the Waterloo area giving us an update of what's going on in that market and maybe look at some deals and some other updates as well. Zack, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing well. Summer slumber is done. Fall market coming in hot, just like the heat wave over the Labor Day long weekend. We're going to talk some market. I actually have a couple off-market deals. I'm sniffing around a couple off-market deals. And then we're going to talk strategies. I think a lot of the questions that we've been getting lately, Ed, on the YouTube channel and from our network is like, how are we finding a good deal? What's a good deal? How to really navigate the short-term market, because people trying to do business right now, I think whether they've kind of admitted it out loud or not to themselves, the market's kind of weird. And there's a whole lot of different kind of strategies kind of going on between buyers and sellers and investors. So I just want to share a few quick hits on like, hey buyers, hey sellers, hey investors. Here's the few things that we've kind of seen with success in this short-term volatility. And we shared an ADU project that we started last video, and we made progress on it. And I'm going to share some more nuggets at the end of the video. So if you guys aren't familiar with Waterloo region, or you are, but you're not really sure about some of the areas that you maybe want to, focus a little bit more specifically on for duplex, triplex conversions, ADUs, the small to mid-level projects for investors in our market, I got a Google map with outlines and keynotes for some specific areas that I would just start with if you're trying to educate yourself. So if you guys want that, hit the end of the video. If you want some market stats though, I think we can kind of jump into them pretty quick here.
Sounds great, man. Let's get going.
So we're going to talk supply, some variables, our hot list. I'll drop a couple notes on some of the off-market deals and some of the on-market deals, and then just locations and a project update. We don't have hard dates for our ADU event yet, but if you get on our investor hot list, which I'll mention in a bit, they get first dibs on our event invites. So you guys want to get there. I know, Ed, obviously we talk real estate all the time, but for the people that watch the video, what do you guys need to know about Waterloo region? I get lots of one-off questions here and there. And if I get a few that are kind of around the same topic, I like to try and integrate that into our content here. But if there's specific questions about Waterloo region or gaps in the information, the data that you guys have as investors or buyers and sellers that you like, hey, I kind of want to know what that is, hit us up in the comments or send me a direct message. All of the links to my website, my personal contact information is going to be in the link in the description of the video. But we make these videos for you guys. So if there's specific things you guys need to know, drop a comment. And we do further content on the exact same stuff, just in more detail on our YouTube channel. So I know Ed's already checked it out. We have a lot of people from the Canadian Real Estate Channel coming over and sending me messages about some of the videos. Lots of stuff on BRRRRs, ADUs, specific projects, and numbers behind some deals that are right here in Waterloo region that we can't necessarily get into in specific detail, just not enough time. So if you guys want more of that, subscribe to the Phipps Brittain YouTube channel or go follow us on Instagram. We are very reachable. We like being in direct contact with our people. So happy to connect if you guys have questions. But to the goods, the good stuff, Ed. What's going on in the market? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? you investors out there, it's always a good time to do business as long as the deal is right. There's good deals and bad deals in every type of market. But for everybody else, whether you're, thinking about yourself or buying a primary residence or your own home that you already own, here's the things that I'm looking at. Inflation, Ed, it just doesn't have any quit. It just doesn't have any quit. That's been a big topic in the market, how expensive the cost of living, gas, goods, groceries, everything's really getting. And it's not coming down as quickly as I think a lot of investors really want, because investors are ready to kind of, go guns blazing again. But that's really got to get under control before we have, any sort of short-term stability. So inflation's really kind of being persistent. The interest rate environment is being dictated by inflation and by our lovely partners, the U.S. down in the South. So I'm watching those things. I'm looking at economic data. A lot of investors are. I want to see, a little bit more certainty in the inflation. So the Bank of Canada can come out and say, hey, here's what we're thinking about inflation, unemployment, and our interest rates to really give us investors confidence in the short term. But in the short term, Ed, supply is low. It's still low. There's not a lot of properties on the market, but it's starting to climb. It's coming up. We're getting some more listings. So what that kind of means for buyers, and I'm seeing this for our listings, I'm seeing this amongst our buyers. Buyers are just a little bit more particular, right? They know there's a little bit more inventory. They know there's a lot more uncertainty in the market. So if they don't need to make a move right now, we're seeing some buyers really be more patient than they were for the last 10 years, because they know that, maybe there'll be some sellers that will sit on the market longer or will be more motivated and maybe they'll get a better price. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get 25% off a ticket price, but that means you can negotiate conditions in your offer where you probably couldn't 2 years ago, or you can maybe negotiate more favorable terms for you as a buyer. Now, that leads into the spicy ratio. So I know when we had Luis on a couple months ago, I coined the list to sale price ratio, the spicy ratio. How spicy is the market? And now we are under 105% list to sale price ratio. So if a property is listed for, let's say $100,000, on average, it'll sell for 105,000. Right. So typically on average, most properties are selling about 5% above asking price. That's a very broad statement. It's just a good indicator for how likely are all properties on the market to sell above or below asking price. Typically, our market for the last 5 years has been above 105%, but now it's slowly starting to come down. So buyers and sellers are really meeting closer to their asking price a lot more frequently in our market. And that's probably for the best. A little bit more of a healthy, balanced market is probably better for the long term. Do I think that'll last? Probably not. I think in our market, we have a real tough time bringing units to market quick enough and keeping them there. But I have noticed something, Ed, and I don't know if you and your people have either. I know you're not necessarily really involved in the pre-construction market, but a lot of investors are, and I totally understand why. It can appeal to a lot of investors for a lot of reasons, but we're seeing a lot of incentives. I'm on a lot of mailing lists for a lot of builders and developers, specifically in my market, and I'm seeing a lot more marketing picking up right around this time of year, and I'm seeing a lot more incentives being offered for pre-construction properties. So lot discounts, premium upgrades for free, kickbacks, higher commissions, lots of flexibility coming from the developer and the builder side of things because they're trying to move units. And I'm assuming they're trying to move units before the end of the year. They have supply that they're really looking to offload. So, just be aware that there may be opportunities for you guys to, upgrade your kitchens or upgrade your appliances, or maybe get a better lot or a bigger unit. Talk with your sales representative, talk with your realtor, talk with the people that you have relationships with in the business. But it's just kind of something I started noticing the last probably 30 or 40 days here. A lot of marketing coming our way for a lot of the developers in town.
Excellent. And just a question for you. I know you work with both typical homeowners and investors. In terms of the effect of inflation on your typical customer, would you say homeowners are being more affected or investors are being more affected, or is it kind of the same?
That's a really good question, actually. I think it's probably the same. I think investors are just a little bit more more particular. I feel like my investors are either like, yeah, I know the exact type of deal I want and those types of deals are available, let's go get them, because they understand the long-term strategy or the long-term game plan versus that short-term strategy. For a lot of our homeowners, we've had some homeowners be, cost motivated, right? Maybe the cost of their current property has increased too much. So, then maybe they'll take a downsize or they'll take a lateral move and take care of some of their debts. So their monthly cost isn't so much in the short term. But for the most part, a lot of our buyers and sellers have done well to make fairly educated and affordable decisions in the last, 3 to 5 years. And that hasn't really put them under the gun. But we are seeing, a small percentage of the market is very price motivated. They cannot carry their properties and they don't want to have, the larger expenses of maybe a higher rate variable mortgage, or they're not able to refinance their property because their mortgage term is up. And those people are really starting to make the decision, okay, am I going to sell the property now and move into something more affordable, or cash out of the market and then come back in the market once financing is better? I would say that's probably about 5 to 10% of our business, our clients, that are making those decisions based on, monthly cost and financing. But for the other 90% of homeowners, it's lifestyle decisions, right? Yeah. Kids, schools, size of property, upgrading features if they can afford it, pretty traditional motivations and decision-making processes. For the investors out there, though, it's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. So really, if our market offers numbers that make sense for them for their short-term goals and their long-term goals, we have people taking action, a lot more the last 30 or 60 days than, maybe back in July or June when investors were really curious on, where interest rates were going. Now interest rates have paused for another 30 or 60 days. People are like, okay, I think we can, maybe make a decision now.
Right. Okay.
Good question, though. And just on the bottom there, I said long-term game plan versus short-term strategy. I just really want to highlight your long-term game plan as a homeowner or, as an investor. Consider what your goals are with your property. If it's a lifestyle choice, right school district, right area to be close to family or work, that's really important. But the short-term strategy should be, dictated towards what you're comfortable with, but also what the current market conditions are. And the market conditions now are different than they were 6 months ago. They're different than they were 2 years ago. So understand the market conditions for your target deals and either, learn that yourself or just ask, if you're working with a realtor or another professional, ask them to say, hey, given the current market conditions, what type of strategy would be best for this type of home that I want or this type of investment property we want? Because the short-term strategy is really how to navigate the current market conditions. And, like I was saying before we got on, Ed, market conditions are kind of all over the place. We're seeing a little bit of everything right now. And so the people that are winning are coming in with a strategy and following it.
Right. Okay.
I almost forgot I put this up. Last week, this is directly from the CMHC website, right? This is the estimating how much housing we'll need by 2030. Canada needs 3.5 million additional housing units by 2030 to, quote, restore affordability. And I put restore affordability in my air quotes, Ed, because even if we get that many units, which I'm not that confident, I would love to. I wish if we could get a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a poll in the comments, how many people watching the video actually think we're going to hit that target? Because I remember the revised target, they used to have 1.5 million was their goal of new units by 2030, and I wasn't even confident they were going to hit that, let alone the 3.5 million, right? So I would love to get the opinion of the people watching the video, other investors, and even yourself. Like, do you see 3.5 million new units coming to Canada in the next, 6.5 years, 6 years?
I would say we need 3.5 just in GTA.
Right. Seriously. Right. And I think the bleed off of the shortage of housing is really starting to take effect now, more so than even 2 years ago when properties were skyrocketing, because prices were going up as affordability was going down. But now affordability has really been pinched quite quickly and quite hard. So harder for people to find good rentals, harder for people to find, affordable homes to purchase and live in themselves. Those problems have persisted, if not gotten worse. And, as a homeowner, as a community member, and as an investor myself, I want to see people be able to have safe, affordable housing in my community. And I think most people want that. And it is a legitimate concern. So I do think the problem is going to get worse before it gets better. I've said that here before. So if people are looking to get into home ownership, if investors are looking to start or build their portfolio, I think it's really important to consider, although there is a ton of short-term volatility, the long-term implications of what's really happening in housing, in economics, in Canada and North America. Take a hard look at that and start making some decisions if this is a goal of yours. But I was really curious to see what people would say in the comments about this one. And now to some buyer and investor strategies. Okay. So I'm putting my buyer hat on. I'm putting my investor hat on. I'm always a buyer. I'm always an investor. I'm always looking for deals for myself and for my clients. So if inventory is climbing, I'm thinking, okay, there's more deals coming on the market. What does Alfonso say? Deals are like buses. There's always a new one coming, right? Absolutely. But the good deals are always selling quick. So what I mean by that is a good deal. Let's say it's a premium location, premium features, premium condition, premium location, whatever, something that is going to be highly desirable, right? Those are still going quick. What else is going really fast is listings that are listing prices are significantly under their asking price. We're seeing those properties get a ton of attention, right? And when I'm saying significantly under their value, it's like, it has to be priced at a price that all buyers like, whoa, that's really attractive price. If it sells anywhere close to that, that's a good deal. We're seeing a lot of showings on those properties and a lot of multiple offers on those properties. So I'm not saying that's the only strategy you should use as a seller, but it is one that our sellers have used with success. Now, next line there, I've said it so many times before, Ed. You younger investors out there, you newer investors out there that are thinking, I want to start investing in real estate. I want to buy my first house, or maybe you have a primary residence and you're really starting to put yourself in a position to start a retirement portfolio or a portfolio for your children. House hacks, duplex conversions, triplex conversions, they work. For an investor that either thinks you want to use real estate as your vehicle for retirement or building wealth, it is a great first or second property to learn a lot of different parts of a deal. If you got a good job, you saved up some money, you have some equity in your primary residence, a house hack, a duplex, or a triplex conversion are great ways to force appreciation, get good units that you can rent out, be positive cash flow every month, but not go out and spend $3-4 million. So if you guys want to go take down the bigger deals, they're out there. They're very doable. We execute on them. We help clients with those. These smaller deals, they are a ton of work, but a ton of opportunity and very manageable for newer investors. And in our market, the numbers still work well. We're going to go over some locations at the end of the video, Ed, specifically in Kitchener and Waterloo, that these types of properties are really much more common in, and why those locations make lots of sense. So if you guys want a little bit, a step deeper, we'll cover that at the end. And then again, just premium locations and larger lots, they hold value.
House hacking is a strategy I wish I would have learned a long time ago, but it's such a valuable strategy that people can leverage right away. So people don't realize it. They just use their basement for storage, for example.
Yeah,
where they can just flip it and have half of their mortgage paid for them, for example.
And beyond the numbers, it's just what you'll learn from kind of having that investor mindset and going through that investor experience is invaluable. Maybe you'll realize investing's not for you, right? Or maybe you'll realize just how possible it is to start and build a legitimate portfolio that could be a powerhouse for you and give you a lot of freedom. And that was the start for me. A house hack duplex conversion was my first property. Changed my life, right? And it really can. One deal can change your life. So just some quick tips for buyers and investors. If you want to increase cash flow, one of the kickbacks I've been getting, Zach, there's not a lot of cash flow flying around on some of these smaller or larger multi-unit deals. Well, let me tell you, if cash flow was growing on trees in Waterloo region, if every deal was just making you thousands a month, come on, you think I wouldn't have bought them already? Me and Ed and other investors would be scooping them up left, right, and center. Not every deal is going to be a perfect deal at face value, but few quick ways that you guys can predictably increase monthly cash flow, if that's what you're after. A lot of my investors, that's what they want. Got to be positive cash flow every month, Ed, right? Increase your down payment. That's not a popular one, but it is an option. Let's not overlook that. You can increase your down payment and you can recoup some of that in the future via refinance, right? Do value adds. Great ways to buy a property at face value, but understand what you can predictably invest in the property after you close on it to increase the monthly cash flow. add units or square footage, add features like in-suite laundry, dishwashers, or improve the overall condition of the units. Lipstick renovation, new kitchen, new bathroom, paint, new driveway for extra parking, new storage, external or internal. There's lots of little things you can do to slowly improve the value. And there's lots of things you can do if you have extra cash to instantly do a big value lift on any property. Yeah. And that brings me to ASR: acquire, stabilize, then refinance to get your money back. This is what a lot of investors are doing if you're going 4 units or above, because typically if you have 4 units or above, you're going to have tenants in some of those units, if not all of them. And the tenants probably aren't all paying market rents. So at today's prices and today's mortgage financing options and prices, it's very difficult to just put 20% down and instantly be in the green, 500,000, 1,500 bucks. So they'll acquire a property, stabilize it by either improving the rents, adding units, adding other avenues of additional cash flow, like storage, like parking, other features, right? And then they'll refinance into another mortgage product, CMHC, A lender. They'll come out of a MIC or the B or the private space that they use to acquire the property, and then the property will cash flow. Now, this is much more common for more experienced investors, much more common for bigger deals. And that's kind of leads me to the last point: go bigger. If you're chasing the cash flow, don't be afraid to go bigger. If you have a little bit of experience, or you have the mindset, or you have the team that has taken down some bigger deals, talk to them about, okay, if I'm not finding cash flow in the deals that I'm looking at, then maybe look at different types of deals. Bigger deals could offer, a lot more money, a lot more work, but again, a lot more upside and a lot more monthly cash flow. So if you have questions about, value adds, the acquire, stabilize, and refinance strategy, and then a go bigger, bigger deals, send us a message directly. These are all deals that we have tons of experience with. And if you need help coaching, whether it's a house hack, a duplex, triplex, or a bigger deal, we can walk our clients through how to acquire, how to stabilize, and how to refinance and manage the property long-term. We got experience with all that. And those are the types of clients we want to do business with.
Just on that, Zach, why don't you go over a little bit how competition changes from a duplex all the way to a 10 or 20plex? And
so that's actually a really good question. I think actually I got a slide. One sec here. Let's just jump right to this one. So this is a slide. This is a snapshot of all the multi-units that have sold in Waterloo region in the last 60 days. What do we notice, Ed? The vast majority of them are duplexes. This is 17, I believe 9, if not 10 of them are just duplex properties. They're much more common. They're much more affordable. They appeal to multiple different buyers, right? There is typically a lot more competition for those because they appeal to more people: owner-occupiers, house hackers, multi-generational families. When you get into the larger properties, there's not necessarily less competition, but it's different. I kind of use the analogy of an airport. Is when you're at an airport, you're either sitting around doing nothing or you're rushing. And when you're looking for the larger deals and you find a good one, you have to rush to it, right? The ones that aren't so good, other investors are sitting at the airport waiting to get called to board their plane until the deal looks a little bit more attractive, right? There's not a lot of in between, right? You see, there was a 20, they had the, excuse me, Beck Street was a 24 unit property, sold in 8 days firm. That is quick for a large property. The other one there on Queens Boulevard was a massive apartment complex, right? Big apartment building. They sold in less than a month, right? Most of these properties typically sell in 30 or 60 days or less, regardless of size. But the competition amongst the ones that have good rents, good locations, good conditions, those ones are getting snapped up. All of the other ones, they're going to sit, they're going to price adjust. They may negotiate longer extensions or longer conditional periods to allow buyers to confirm, financing, inspections, phase 1, phase 2 environmental, if that's what they need to do for the bigger deals. But we just noticed that a lot of the market is the smaller deals, and then a very small percentage of the bigger deals are actually getting scooped up. So competition for the good stuff, very high, regardless of whether you're buying a $600,000 duplex or a $31 million apartment building in Kitchener, right? It is competitive for the good deals, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Ed, if you're looking for the deals, investor hot list, listen,
got to do it.
You got to do it. This is free. I share market stats. I share event invites. I share off-market deals. I share on-market deals. I share my opinion on some of these deals in terms of this is how this compares to this property in terms of cost per door, average price per square foot, rental income. this is a really good way to get a weekly update right into your inbox for inside the mind of Zack. Here's what I'm thinking about our on-market deals or off-market deals. It's free, no obligation. But if you're on the investor hot list, you get first dibs for our invites for our investor events and meetups. And if we have any other resources above and beyond, what we're doing here on the Canadian Real Estate channel, like our ADU project, like events that we're hosting or going to, or other resources we have access to, investor hot list. My clients and my investor hot list get it first. So go sign up at phippsbrittinrealestate.com. And then if you have specific deals you're looking at, if you have properties that you want us to help analyze for you, if you're thinking about refining or selling them, we're all about relationships, and we understand investors need to have a long-term game plan, and they may need our assistance for the short-term strategy. Whether you're selling a property, refinancing it, adding to your portfolio, or just getting started, this is a really good starting place to just get baseline information on what's going on in Waterloo region. Just fill out the form. The email goes right to myself, my team, Derek and Matt. One of us will get in touch with you directly and check in, make sure you have everything you need. If you need a phone call, you need a face-to-face appointment to move forward, we can set that up at that time as well.
Fantastic.
And then my sellers. We're going to go over sellers pretty quick here. Showing volume is down. There's not as many people looking at properties this fall as there were last year. Obviously, with all the uncertainty and how expensive things are getting, right? So I just need to highlight three things. I've talked about it before, Ed. But if you want to sell a property, whether it's a multi-unit or your single family home, you have to try and get it to show as well as possible, right? Have to. For your primary residence or your duplex, triplex, you can stage those properties sometimes. Staging works, period, right? Price it right. I'm looking at comparable sales for the next 30 or 60 days back. I'm not looking at sales from the spring. If the property sold in the spring, probably not that comparable to yours because it's different market conditions right now, guys, right? So I need last 30 to 60 days. And then I'm also going to take into consideration what are the lending options available for buyers that typically buy your property. And then I'm also going to take a step further. I like to go out and look at the active listings that directly compare to my listings. So if I haven't already seen the fourplex that's around the corner that we're going to be competing against, I'll go look at it. And I want to know how well does it show? What does it smell like? What type of features does it have? What's the parking like? If I'm selling a single family home and there's 5 other detached homes in that neighborhood, I'm going to go look at them to do my market research. And then I'm also going to consider, what are they priced at? Are they holding off offers? What types of conditions are they looking for? Like, we want to do deep dive so that when our property hits the market, buyers aren't idiots. They are looking at everything else, just like you guys should be when you're selling a home, right? And then last piece, market directly to your target buyers. I'm thinking of who is the most likely to pay the most for this type of property. And I'm working my way backwards to understand how to show it, how to market it, how to do the media, and how to communicate to my prospective buyers so that you can actually sell the property. Because what we're going to see, Ed, whether they're out in Ottawa, up in your market, right in the heart of Toronto or downtown Kitchener where I am, is properties that show well, are priced right, and are actually marketed well, they'll sell. And a lot of the other properties will sit on the market and either come off or they'll price drop in order to find an attractive price for potential buyers. And you don't want to be price dropping if you can avoid it. You want to kind of get it right the first time.
Right.
And then boom, we already covered this. I did want to highlight though, so if 17 multi-units have sold, Ed, 17 multi-units have sold in the last 60 days. That's 60 days. That's just under 10 a month. We average in Waterloo region about 10 to 15 a month all year because we get a lot more in the spring and summer. How many active multi-units are on the market right now? This is just multifamily, multi-unit properties in all of Waterloo region.
I can't imagine.
113.
Okay.
So if there's 113 on the market right now, only 10% of those would have sold in the past 60 days, give or take. So if there's 113 on the market and 10% of those are actually selling, that's probably, I'm making some really, really rough assumptions here. Probably about 10 to 15 to 20% of the active listings are probably actually pretty fair deals, or there's a fair deal in there. That means 70 to 80% of the active market is probably either overpriced, don't have enough in rental income coming in, not in good enough condition where an investor can come in and add enough value. There's going to be something that is either distressed about the property or the listing itself. So I'm really curious to see as we get closer to the end of the year, how aggressive are investors pushing to really move their properties? Are they price dropping? Are they offering VTBs? Are they offering to work with their tenants or with the potential buyers? So having relationships and knowing how to have conversations with those types of sellers should start to uncover deals, because in our market, deals are made. They are not just, growing on trees. So we already talked about this real quick, but there's just one piece that I wanted to talk about on this particular topic, because we already kind of covered some of the seller strategies, Ed, was you have to understand as a seller of an investment property is you're selling it to likely another investor, and they're going to need to see value in the property. So being able to communicate, here's the value of the property if you purchase it right now, but here's also the future potential of the property, whether that's maintaining a building that's already in mint condition, getting great rents. Guys, the long-term value of this property is you really don't have to invest a ton of time and money to maintain it. You just set it and forget it. Or if you have a property that's more in between, some good rents, some not so good rents, hey guys, there's opportunity to improve the value of this property by increasing the condition or increasing your rents or adding new features to the tenants and the units that you already have. And it's just really, really apparent when you're looking through other listings is the agents that have experience with those types of things and the ones that don't. So clearly understanding how to communicate good value now, but also good value in the future will help you as a seller better understand how to position your property to actually sell for a good price. As I just said, 17 deals, multi-unit deals have sold in the last 60 days. That's not that many. There's way more properties that are currently sitting on the market, not being able to move because they're not properly communicating the value and marketing to the right types of investors that are actually going to be able to pull trigger on those deals. So friendly reminder. Now, ADUs, baby. ADUs, garden suites. Okay. So I'm starting to get a lot more attention for these because I think investors and homeowners have seen a few of these deals hit the market and sell. They've seen a few around the neighborhood. It's new, but it's not, you're not first to market anymore. You're maybe like second or third to market. Being the first one to take that leap of faith is, can be seen as a lot of risk. But, there's probably about 2, maybe 3 dozen of these projects that have actually finished in Waterloo region, from, big name builders to, some smaller contractors and investors kind of doing 1 or 2 here and there. And so generally speaking, these make sense much more so for investors and homeowners that want to not move from their primary residence, but they need additional living space. For an investor, you can build a unit cheaper than you can buy it. So if you have an existing property, especially if you've bought it within the last 10 years, you probably got a ton of equity. Well, you can use that equity to help you purchase or to build the ADU, so you're not taking money out of your pocket, and you probably have a lot, and we'll talk about locations for that is going to be conducive for an ADU. So 200 to 300,000 to build a brand new unit. Now, 200 to 300 grand cash is a ton of money. I understand that. You don't necessarily need to use all cash. We'll get into that. But I cannot go buy a brand new 800 square foot 2-bedroom unit for 300 grand. I can't. They don't exist in my market. It's not even close. But I can add that to an existing property of mine, and I can rent it for $2,500 plus a month, and it's not rent controlled, and it's brand new. Talk to me. So the numbers do make sense. You're getting an 8 to 10% return. If I build it, split it down the middle, 250 grand for a 2-bedroom property in an ADU in my backyard, I can rent that out for $2,500 all day. I just looked at lease numbers for 2-bedroom condos, Ed. 2-bedroom condos on the low end rent for $2,000. On the high end, almost $3,000. Would you rather rent, a detached, fully self-sufficient, brand new 800 square foot 2-bedroom ADU with 2-car parking in a quiet neighborhood? Or would you rather rent, an 800 square foot condo or with 1+ den and 1-car parking where you have neighbors all over the place? So I see value. I see tenants wanting those types of properties and willingly paying premiums for brand new units can be a great way to add value to your portfolio. And this is the one that we've started in Forest Hill. This is 800 square foot bungalow. This was one of the photos I shared last time. These are the trenches here that we were digging to connect to the plumbing in the front yard. We also installed additional drainage systems here to make sure that we're keeping water away from the ADU and the existing duplex that's on the property. Lots of gravel, lots of dirt. And then we're getting it framed up. So interior's almost all framed up. Exterior's almost, it's pretty much ready to get weather tight. I think they're going to be finishing that either today or on Monday. But I wanted to highlight a few things. One thing that really kind of frustrated me, Ed, when I was getting into real estate was you hear real estate investors and agents talk about value add. And then
Mm-hmm.
you get to your first project and you're like, oh, I want to do a really nice kitchen. Oh, I want to use these cool finishes and features. And that's great. But what I think of value add is what I'm going to spend this money on my renovation or my construction, is that money going to yield me higher resale value, higher refinance value, higher rental income? Those are
Mm-hmm.
the things that I think of. Buying a $3,000 stainless steel fridge versus a $10,000 stainless steel fridge in a 2-bedroom apartment isn't really going to change much. But investing a couple $1,000 to cut the curb and put a new double wide driveway in for my tenants so they can have 2-car parking there. Okay, 2-car parking for a brand new 2-bedroom unit is very rare. That also means that it'll be more likely to attract multiple tenants. So I'm never going to have a problem filling this unit because 2-car parking is a bonus. I spend a few extra G's to cut the curb and pour a separate driveway for this. That is worth it for me. That's the red lines right there. The
Mm-hmm.
green triangle, that's the vaulted ceilings. So we did a peaked roof on this one. One, because we could get trusses prefabbed and delivered, no problem. Second, that allowed us to do a vaulted ceiling in the main living space. So as soon as you walk in this unit, you have vaulted ceilings in the living, dining, and kitchen area, and it makes the whole unit just seem so much more bright and open. A big kickback that we're going to get for ADUs is, oh, they're small. Well, this is an 800 square foot 2-bedroom. This is almost as big as most bungalows that people live in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the little things like that will only slightly increase the cost or add to cost for your build, but show dramatic differences in premium rents, which means lots of tenants are looking at it, which means I'm probably not getting as many vacancies. And if I'm getting higher rents, less vacancies, I'm making more money. And I can also likely refinance or resell this property if I am going to, a lot easier and for a lot more cash. So if you guys have questions about the ADUs, I have some contact information for you guys at the end.
So
Now,
Zach, if I'm a seller and I'm on the fence whether I should sell or potentially just a homeowner looking to add a space, we can contact you directly. You guys can put us in contact with the people who can help us build this out.
absolutely. So I think the step one is identifying what is the highest and best use for your property. If you're selling a primary residence and it's going to be a combination between cost and benefit. Do
Mhm.
you have time and energy and resources to invest in the property before you sell it? And if we do invest in the property before you sell it, adding a unit, updating specific things of the property, are we guaranteed to get that money back? Okay, those are conversations that myself and my partner Matt, we can come meet you at the property or over the phone and clearly walk through things that we think could improve the value of the home. And if that is worth it to you, if that is going to give you the final result that you want, great. If not, then let's work with what you guys have. If you're thinking about doing ADUs, we can visit the site, we can look it up online, we can go through the City of Kitchener websites, and we can tell, hey, is it even possible? And if it is, how big of a structure? What part of the lot should we be building it on? And why we should be building it there? Those are all things that we can help with. We can't give you 100% guaranteed answers quickly, but we can give you very clear and certainty saying, hey, is it going to be worthwhile to invest time and energy to figure that out? Or, you know what, this type of property, you're better off just working with what you got. Maybe we just see if we can't, either sell or refinance, whatever you want right away.
Perfect. Thank you.
But yeah, like pretty much within a site visit or, an hour or two worth of research, we can give people some pretty quick and pretty accurate estimations on expected cost benefits for some big things. So for ADUs and garden suites, use the equity or other financing to build it and then refinance it. From concept to completion, we have the team, we have relationships with lenders that can refinance them as well. That's been a big problem. A lot of commercial lenders, a lot of credit unions and private lenders were taking these. Well, if it's only 3 units, you can still get residential financing. And there's some A lenders coming to the table saying, hey, we have solutions for you. So we're booking into 2024. If you want to improve cash flow or value on one of your existing properties or one you're looking to acquire, send us a message now. The treasure map, the Zack Brittain treasure maps. We're going to go through these quick because people can pause them and pull up Google Maps if they want. Highlighted in yellow, Rosemount, Heritage Park. Circled in green, these are transit hubs and amenities. It's a nice family-friendly neighborhood, lots of brick builds, big lots. Some purpose-built multi-units in this area, some small, some big, but more importantly, quiet residential, mid-size to small-size square footage on the big lots, which means you can add great ADUs, good for duplex conversions as well. Next up, Kingsdale, Vanier. This big circled one down here, this is Fairview Park. The blue circles are the stops for the for the LRT. I also highlighted Centerville on kind of that northwest side or northeast side of Highway 8. Big lots, detached homes, brick builds, close to the highway, not too far from downtown, close to the LRT. Like, we have multiple properties in this area. We have clients that have properties in this area. We like this area. Very nice. Very, very nice. Next up, Country Hills. Country Hills, Laurentian Hills. This is actually much more common for investors and owner occupiers because it's a nice family friendly neighborhood. It's quiet. It's not too far from everything. Again, this neighborhood typically 70s, maybe 80s builds, but again, fairly big lots, quiet side streets. You're less than a 5-minute drive to anything, and they have good commutes. Not the LRT going through here, but good commuter traffic going through Strasbourg, Blockline, Westmount, Ottawa. Like, you can get anywhere you need. Like I said, owner occupiers are very common in here because the square footage of the homes is a little bit bigger than the other two neighborhoods typically. So you can have a main floor, nice big 3-bedroom unit that's going to be suitable for you and a partner, or you and a couple kids. And then you can have a rental suite in the basement or add the rental unit in the ADU in the back. Some pockets of these neighborhoods are very nice. $1 million homes tucked in at the dead end streets or the quiet crescents with big lots. So a little bit more of a mix. And then we got Forest Hill and Forest Heights. Parts of Forest Hill and parts of Forest Heights are very nice. Some $1 million homes, some multi-million dollar homes, but in the more central parts of the neighborhood, close to Fisher Hallman, Highland, Fisher Hallman, and Ottawa, you're close to the highway entrances and exits, but not too close where you feel like you're on the highway. You are close to major amenities, whether it's the boardwalk, whether it's the Real Canadian Superstore Plaza or the Sunrise Center. My only complaint about this area is if you are a commuter to the GTA, you are on the far side of the 401, but we got you covered. Kitchener, thinking ahead. God bless them. Highway 8, you bump on the Highway 8, you're on the 401 in 10 minutes or less. So this one's a little bit more of a mix of owner occupiers, but we have a couple investment properties. Clients have purchased in here. Great long-term holds because the lots are big and they have lots of different builds, side splits, back splits, bungalows, walkouts. Love this area. And then I think I got one, maybe two more. This one is Midtown. This is kind of your Waterloo, your Waterloo East. You're getting up to Bridgeport West, Fairfield neighborhood, Margaret Herb, Margaret Union, and then all the way kind of down towards the GO station. Down at the bottom, I've highlighted in blue. Those are LRT and GO station stops. Highlighted in green are where your amenities and your highways access is going to be. This is a little bit more of a mismatch of a neighborhood, but the locations are just so good you can't screw it up, Ed. Right? Your walking distance, you hold this for 5 to 10 years, you can't lose kind of area. Most of Kitchener is like that, honestly, right now. But specifically, you are on, pretty decent sized lots for most of this area, but your location is walking distance to downtown or walking distance to uptown Waterloo. And there is definitely kind of that, more close-knit community feel in that area. So people aren't going to be moving out that much. So it's going to be more and more rare to find properties in these locations. And they're just so close to everything, you can't lose. That's all I got. Right? And then last but not least, Northern Waterloo. This is Lakeshore Village. This is going to be Lakeshore North. Your Northfield and Westmount, your kind of Northfield and Weber. This is all in Waterloo. Some parts of this are conducive for student rentals, but for the most part, duplex conversions with ADUs are great. You're close to the highway, you're close to Conestoga Mall, you're close to University of Waterloo, and then you're also close to Laurel Creek Conservation Area, which on the other side of Laurel Creek Conservation Area, multi-million dollar homes, best public school district in Waterloo. This area has, parts of it have been a little bit rougher for a little while, but it's getting turned over like crazy because you have affordable detached homes. Only complaint, far from the 401. So if we need to go over the 401, get up to Ottawa and see Ed, or we need to go to Toronto, you're going to be about 5-10 minutes, a little bit longer than if you're in the more central locations. But in exchange for that, sometimes a little bit more affordable price points. So if you guys want to pause these and you want to go back to Google Maps, or you want to just email me about some specific locations you want some data on, or some information on average sale price, average ARV, average rental income, shoot me an email directly. Be happy to send you guys some more details. but I wanted to give investors who are really starting to gear up for, hey, what location should I be looking in? What types of deals are in these areas? Just a really quick snapshot of really what Waterloo region has to offer. You did notice though, Ed, I did not talk about Cambridge, because Cambridge is like way too mismatchy. I'd have to go like block by block, because it's just a little bit more of a mismatch kind of city, because it's 3 older cities that grew into each other. There are great deals in Cambridge. Fan of Cambridge. There are great deals to be had there. It's just too specific for me to give a general map like Waterloo region, like Kitchener and Waterloo. So if you guys have questions about Cambridge, either hit me in the DMs or send me an email direct. I got you guys covered there too. And then for people that want to actually do deals in those areas and you want to get quotes on your projects, we have Kevin at King Street Construction that will provide quotes for properties we're looking to acquire. We had a client pick up a duplex conversion 2 weeks ago, and within a week we had a hard quote in his hands, ready to go, so he can decide if he's going to move forward with the project or if we're going to go do something else. And so you can email him directly, or you can contact me. I can give rough estimates because I've done enough of these projects. Say, hey, this is how much it'll take. But if you guys want hard numbers, you want to talk contracting, renovations, building, Kevin, he's going to be your guy. Alrighty, guys. Last but not least, the investor hot list. If you want the weekly emails with deals on market and off market, like I said, we got a 40 unit, 40, and a 4 unit off market right now that we got the details on. You can send me a message directly. If you don't want to be on the investor hot list and you have specific real estate questions for me, or you want to hop on a call and just fire away, you can contact me through there. I will call you directly. You get access to me. Be happy to learn more about your situation and help out any way we can.
Fantastic, Zach. Always a wealth of knowledge. You can clearly tell there's Waterloo is huge, but if you know exactly where you're looking at, it definitely goes a long way, especially for investors who are out of town. I myself, I'm in Brampton, actually, not in Ottawa.
Oh, geez, that's right. What am I saying?
But in Brampton, like I grew up here, and I designed, like, out of the map, I call it my Monopoly board. I don't go outside that board. I'm like, this is where the money is, and that's it.
So find the best deals there.
That's right. That's right. So thank you again. Thanks for hopping up on the channel, and I look forward to our next conversation for sure.
Likewise. I love the sign, Ed. Don't quit. Just do it, baby. I think that's great motivation. Thanks for having me on. Really good to see you. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you soon.
Take care, man.